Hey Kyle, Ben here working on your swing analysis work from the camp, and appreciate you going to camp here. I've been doing video analysis work for a long time now and look forward to taking a couple swings and taking a couple things that we're going to talk about on your swing, and found some things that I would recommend to do, and let's go ahead and get started here. So when we talk about our stance, we're going to talk about basically a couple few things from the start of our swing all the way through your swing, and just go over a couple things mechanically that I think we can improve upon. So the first thing I would want to do in regards to our swing is just clean up a couple things to make you more consistent. And I think one of those things to do with making you more consistent is just making sure that we have a contact here that we're just going to be have a better chance for making less errors and getting you more consistent. So if I back up here a few frames, and what I would want to do is I want to take your hands, and it's very important for our barrel to always stay above our hands as much as possible. So on our start, we need to take your hands and we need to put them back in this area more, and we want to create a better angle, and I want the barrel more to go this direction. And what that's going to do is going to get your hands away from our face. You're going to create some separation, and we're just going to have a better chance of less movement. Remember, the more movement we have, the more chance for error that we have. So when I go into your swing here, we just have to make sure that we're going to work on getting ourselves more consistent. As you go to swing, you can see how you begin to bend down a little bit. So make sure you want to keep the same eye level kind of all the way through your swing that you're doing here, because when you start, you kind of start up here, and then now when I'm going to swing, you kind of drop down here. So let's find somewhere that's going to be consistent, that you don't want to change your planes and your level of your swing and your eyes. I think it's going to be really good for you to pick one that's in the middle or pick one that's right here, and to be able to do that from the start. Again, we don't want to have timing with our bat and our hands and different levels with our eyes. We try to want to get to a spot where we can be as successful as possible and just having as least amount of movement as we can, and that's going to make a big difference in regards to your swing. So going into what's the next phase of our analysis is called our land foot here. So one thing I do notice right away is this back knee. You can see that is kind of turned out with that back foot. Make sure that back foot is turned in, and what you want to do is when you make a line, you don't want that knee to go straight down. You don't want it to touch. You want that knee to be more over in this part and have it turn. So when you turn your foot, you want that line to go down where it's going to hit the ground compared to hitting your foot. So it's going to give you more power in regards to my lower half, to really engage your lower half more. So as you go to swing, pretty good job in regards to the mechanics of our swing. If I back up here a few frames, and make sure when you go to stride, you did close off your swing a little bit. So you notice here on your step that this is kind of a straight line, and you can see right now that we kind of changed that line and made it more of an angle to make sure that we stepped in. So make sure that line, when you line up, you always want to try to stride straight and don't try to stride in. But not too much. But if you do get jammed or you do have some things to do, it's just something to be aware about in regards to that. When you land with your foot, so I'm going to back up here a couple frames. When you land with our foot, you want to make sure that you're going to have you kind of load back, you kind of drag that foot, and then we put it out there. When we do land foot, you got to make sure that we land a little bit more athletic. When you land, you're kind of landing already firm. You want the swing to make your front foot firm. So at this point of our swing, again, you want to make sure that those knees are a little bit more bent. You can see that both are pretty straight right now, and that's going to take all the power and put it into your arms. The other thing is you'll see as you kind of come hunched over a little bit, keep that good posture. Keep that posture nice and tall. Keep those hands nice and high. More importantly, you need to really make sure that barrel stays kind of up in here with this angle. And what that's going to do is it's going to kind of create this downhill angle for me. It's going to create some more leverage and power for me. So when you land, kind of land more athletic. Where right now you're kind of land where your legs are kind of straight. So when I get to contact, you do turn that knee in, and you do a pretty good job of that. But I think we can get a little bit more turn in our backside. You did stay through the ball okay. And let's see how you do on your balance in regards to the end of your swing. You can see how we kind of come up. So we started with being really tall, and then we changed levels, and then we kind of went tall again. You can see how I want to have that complete rotation in my back foot, and I want to make sure that I'm on plane better, just to make sure that I have things that I want to work on. You can see right here we kind of get hunched over a little bit. So just make sure that you stay nice and tall with our posture, and don't be hunched over, because remember, when you start to begin to hunch over, your barrel and your hitting will actually go more uphill, and you want to make sure that you're more working downhill when I swing here to get those hands there. Don't let that barrel drop below our hands. You want to make sure that those hands stay up on my face, but to keep that barrel up, because that's going to help me work more downhill. You stepped in a little bit, and that's okay. Didn't get a lot of power in regards to our swing. I think we can engage a lot more of your lower half involved with your swing by striding straight, by striding more athletic. You can see here when I back it up here a couple frames that when I do stride, I don't have much of a load, or I'm not landing athletic, so I'm just using a lot of arms when I hit. At this part of our swing, you want to make sure that your hands kind of get separated away from our body, and get your hands back in here. Make sure that that barrel is a little bit higher, and that's going to create some more power for you. Again, kind of hunched over right here, so make sure you keep good posture. I always think about balancing a Coke can on the top of my helmet, and right now you can see that that Coke can's kind of going to fall over here a little bit, so make sure you keep good posture, and that's going to help you to work downhill and to make better solid contact with more of my body weight into the baseball. So if I come down to contact, hands are in pretty good shape. This is a pretty good spot right here, but we got to make sure that we square up the ball, and you know, making sure that we watch ourselves hit the baseball, and just make sure that we do our best job that we can to try to square up and to keep our head on the ball. You can see once I begin to finish my swing at the end, it's really important to hold that finish, but you can see right now that that back leg is pretty straight, and at this part of our swing you would still want to hold your finish. You can see how that kind of step, we kind of stepped into it a little bit, so make sure that you're stepping on a straight line going forward. But at this point of our swing, you would want to have it, if I draw some lines here, you'd want to have a good angle in my foot there to be more on the ball of my foot, and turn that foot and turn that hip. You can see that front hip didn't get all the way turned enough. You can see that it needs to be turned a little bit more. And if I draw a straight line of where your knee wants to be, your knee wants to be here, and so you want your head to be more back in this area, to be back farther, and that's going to create my power line right here. And you can leave your front foot where it is, but we got to get our hips and our head back in that circle to get this what's called our power line, and that's kind of how we want to look at contact. So I think a lot of tee work would be good for you to hold your finish and check out. I think watching your posture, I think, would be really good for you. Clearing your hands a little bit more, and make sure you're striding straight. I think these are the 4 or 5 kind of key points, and you're not too far off. You've done a good job and have some opportunity to play, but we got to do some fine tweaks for those really advanced pitchers to be able to get a chance to engage that lower half, hit for more power, and be more consistent. So hopefully this email and video helps you out, and thanks for coming to camp. We hope to see you back at a camp real soon.